Jackie Brown of Jackie Brown Books, and today I'm interviewing Scott R. Dawson, who is an author of our book. Do you want to hold yours up as well, Scott? Yeah, so we're going to be talking about Scott's story. That's one of the 19 tales in here. I'm the compiler of this book, and I have a story I have a story in this myself. And today we want to talk about Scott's story. That's called
The Rabbit Hole.
Tell us what inspired you to write this story, Scott.
Okay, I am working with Jackie on my major young adult novel, and in the process of this, she mentioned about a compilation and a group of writers all from Durham region, or at least some connection to Durham region, and I grew up in Whitby, so there you are. And so I thought I'd like to get a story into this. And one of the things that has always, in the past few months, worried me is the rise in conspiracy theory belief. And so it happened that years ago I was in another writers group online built around the shared fiction that rabbits are dangerous. And not only dangerous, but deadly and highly intelligent and extremely cute.
Yeah.
So they were trying to conquer humanity, but they were outnumbered. So they had to use subterfuge and deception and propaganda and all that kind of stuff. So one of the things they were doing was spreading untrue tales and spreading things to basically psychologically disarm people.
Right.
And so
it's funny that you chose such an innocent looking animal to be so evil. That makes them hiding like in plain sight. Cool idea to choose rabbits.
Well, part of it is the cuteness is, well, what is cute? It is our natural reaction to young creatures, our natural reaction to want to parent and nurture them. So in a way, that was like a psychological weapon for them to use, right, which was built into humans. So in the stories of the shared world that I found, the rabbits were horrendous supremacists and wanted to basically conquer the world and believed that humans and other creatures were basically at best cattle, right, and at worst obstacles to be eliminated. But they hide all this with their cuteness.
Right.
And I got to thinking about some of the things, like the way people who abuse people often appear to be very friendly and attractive. Mm-hmm. Like inside, they're just using people.
Yes.
And some of the people who disseminate some of these views online, they don't really believe them. They're just trying to make a buck.
Right.
So in my story, it starts out with one of the characters being essentially an internet troll.
Right.
And spreading the Bun propaganda, but he believes it. He's been brainwashed so far that his brain is leaking out his ears. And then the next scenes that happen show how the rabbits are actually thinking about him, which is basically, do we eat him now or later?
My. So it gets quite dark in your story.
It does.
Uh-huh.
But it's dark, but it's not harrowing in the way that some things are.
Right.
Because I found that some things, like a lot of literature, it takes you on a journey. You go through the dark feelings and you relive them and you come out the other side healed in some sense. And, music and art does that kind of thing.
Yes. And through art, you're able to explore the, the bad side well, yeah, I don't know if there's a good side of conspiracy theories, but certainly you're able to explore this through using fiction.
Yeah. And
Yes.
it's not really about the specific theory that the conspiracists have.
Yes.
It's more about the way such things are used, and it doesn't matter if they're true or not. But because in terms of conspiracy theories believers, and I've met a lot of them in various places and from all over the political spectrum, and I came to the conclusion that it is not a logical thing. You can't logically argue somebody out of something they're not logically argued into.
Mm-hmm.
It's an emotional thing. It's like when you're part of the group, you sign on to the group belief, and that helps you. Anyone that does not have the group belief is an outsider, one of the others. And it's this kind of binary thinking that has caused so much trouble in the world.
Yes. And so so COVID certainly inspired your creativity, and you were able to connect it to some work you were doing previous. And previously you were trained at one of the best colleges for art and animation, right?
Well, for 7 or 8 months in 1992 and 3, I went to Sheridan College to study classical animation. And because even at that time, I was creating fictional worlds and stories. And what I didn't fully realize was that the animation program was about acting on paper.
Right.
The actual design of the worlds was very secondary, at least in the part that I had. Maybe it was further on in the program, but I didn't last very long there.
All right.
But I still consider it extremely important, and
Great.
I've still got my drawing board from the school too.
All right. And I know that the other book we've been working together on, it's a real mix of art, like, visual arts as well as your storytelling. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Well, it's called Parts, an Industrial Fantasy. And it was inspired directly by my job on the assembly line.
Yes.
And it's the story of a bunch of car parts in a factory being assembled, and it's their journey through the factory and trying to get to their destiny, which is being built into a car.
Right.
They're headlights, and they go through the various stations on the assembly line, and various parts get built up, and a lid goes on, and it goes to the final test, and it fails the test, and it goes to this place called rework, where parts are stripped down and usable components are removed. And this is a place of terror for them.
Right.
And after some rounds of testing, the parts that I'm writing about, which are components in the larger headlamp, are knocked to the floor, and before they could be collected by the automatic cleaners, which is just a little sort of like an industrial Roomba,
mm-hmm.
They are found by wild parts.
It's feral parts.
There's an entire hidden society of parts in the back corners of the factory who rescue these lost parts and try to return them to their places on the production line. And I start going into how the whole structure works about, the parts are crying out for help, and they contact Sid, the wireless gateway who's hanging from the ceiling.
Yes.
And there's a structure of how the network is working, and their relationship to the great machines that assemble the parts, like the robots and the test stands and everything. And then there's the mysterious computers off in the central office that are controlling the whole thing.
Fascinating.
But it's all from the viewpoint of the parts. So they don't really even see the human workers on the assembly line as something different than machines.
Right.
So from their viewpoint, we're just a very strange kind of machine. And it takes them a while to figure out that, yes, humans can hurt too.
Right. And I was so, I just can see it already as as an animated feature film? Because it's kind of like which it's kind of like Cars with iRobot, or what? How would you describe
Well,
the ultimate vision of
it has
your?
always been my idea to have this turn into a movie because I was going to screenwriting group in Toronto at Lyft for a long time before coming out to Belleville and joining the writers group and everything. And I'm thinking of this somewhere between Toy Story and that other movie, Robots.
Right.
Robot Society.
Yes.
A little bit, but of course it's also very different too. But
right. So you wanted to show us something on your website, and you can get more information about Scott and all his work and all the incredible creative projects he's involved on through your website. And what's your URL again?
srdbooks.ca.
Yes. So anyway, let's have a look. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can share screen now. Okay, this should be showing my website.
Right, that's what we're seeing.
And SRD Books, that's what I got busy with building over the weekend. I mean, over the holidays. And so I'm talking about parts here and where the story came from. And it literally, I'm going to be doing it in watercolor and ink too, background.
Right.
It literally arose out of scribbles that I would write on my notepad to my friends because we were all working different shifts and we share a house. And I started to end up writing this little story every night when I came home from work. And it just kind of grew into this whole thing. And then a friend from school gave me your name, Jackie.
Oh, yes.
I made Rosanna. This little script and sent it off. And you sent back this amazing report that just made my jaw drop. And you looked at it from outside and it was just like, wow, this is real.
Yes, that what you are creating can live a life outside of just your mind, that it really is possible. And especially with the, just how magical your drawings are. So 19 Tales of COVID-19. Are you going to, this is your first publication, is that correct? Or have you been published before?
Almost. I worked as a technical writer for more than 10 years, so I wrote a lot of things that were published under the corporate name. And when I was looking for work in Sutton, I went to a group at York Works, which was a work search place, and it was led by a guy named Sean Shepherd, and I did a cartoon for him, which I haven't actually put up here because it's on a different website and everything, but it was a little 4-page cartoon called Sugar-Free Sean because he talked about being diabetic and having like this pump and everything. So that was my first actual non-work published thing.
Fantastic.
And 19 Tales will be the first one that is available for sale and is sold to real bookshops and everything. So I'm so excited about that too.
Wonderful. So this is the first interview that I've conducted with the 19 authors in this really fun compilation, which has, as the title says, both nonfiction and fiction. We even have a poem in there, which is kind of like a bit of history. So the book is available on Amazon, both, all over the world. And soon will be in bookstores near you. And we're having our launch on the 28th of July, January. I knew it started with a J. So 28th of January, 6 p.m. We'll have the links up for people who want to attend. And the reason you want to attend is that authors are offering some door prizes. And what are you offering, Scott?
I'm doing a large drawing of a scene from my story.
Fabulous. And so there'll be lots of great reasons for you to attend this book launch. And we're actively asking everyone to go out and buy it right now. We have spots 1 and 2 of the hot new releases for our category on Amazon, which is Canadian Collections. And this is definitely a fabulous Canadian collection. As Scott mentions, most of the authors are from Durham, but not all of them. We have Scott's fabulous tale of called On the Rabbit Hole. And the other thing to mention is that Scott is an incredible book designer. He's the one who designed the cover as well as done the interior. So if you're looking for that kind of work, Scott offers that as well. And so thank you for listening to the first of several interviews with the authors of 19 Tales of COVID-19. And come to our launch and buy the book. You will find it fabulous. You'll laugh, you'll cry, all kinds. Buy the book, and thank you for watching. From Jackie Brown of Jackie Brown Books, and
from Scott, thank you very much.